Hey guys, Silver Ghost here. Today I'm going to show you how to fix the iPad 2017, aka 2017's new iPad, which is the 6th generation. So right now you can see me, I am removing the home button ribbon and that whole connection right there. I've already preheated the screen and I'm using some alcohol to eat away at the adhesive. Alcohol works great on loosening up any kind of adhesive, and it really makes a lot of a difference if you're trying to keep everything intact, which you should because the home button is irreplaceable. Yeah, so it's pretty self-explanatory. You just want to get in between the digitizer essentially and the home button because you want to remove the whole thing in one piece. So we're going to skip ahead real quick to the next one. So on the new digitizer, I sped up this video a little bit because there's no need for it to be in regular speed. So I'm removing the old home button from the new, I'm removing the home button that came with the new digitizer. You do not want to use the original one, trust me. You want to use the one that came with the iPad initially because it has a Touch ID on there, and original buttons that come with iPads always work the best. So do your best to always use the original and never the original that comes with the new digitizer. As you can see, I'm also removing the adhesive. The adhesive that comes with most of these digitizers suck. They don't stick at all, and they're essentially not that good. You just want to use your own kind of adhesive. I actually recommend 3M double-sided adhesive. It works really good, and it does help secure the new digitizer on the iPad. Alright, I think it's safe to say we can skip to the next video clip. Alright, so now I'm going to be cutting the protective film on the new digitizer simply because, actually you're going to see why in a minute once I put the new home button onto the new digitizer. It'll just help me a bunch. As you can see, I'm now preparing the home button for the new digitizer, and I'm going to put the bracket on the home button right now. And once that's done, you're going to want to get some Loctite glue or any kind of super glue and just put a small amount on the brackets. This will help a lot, and it dries a lot faster when it's a small amount. If you put too much, it actually takes a long time to dry. Probably actually will never really dry. It just takes forever. So as you can see, I'm going to place the home button first into the groove and then secure the brackets and make sure everything's nice and flat. So now I'm testing out, make sure it bounces. You always want to make sure it bounces. If it doesn't bounce, that means you put the bracket too high or too low, and you definitely don't want to do that. I am also putting some more glue on the bracket itself to further secure it to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. As you can see, I'm just pressing on it, making sure it's all good. Alright, so once that's done, you just want to, make sure everything's good, test everything. I always like to test my home buttons over and over again because, wear and tear, you don't want the customer to come back with the home button sinking in. So that's why I've started using glue. Glue's a lot better than just using adhesive. Double-sided adhesive after a while kind of loses its stickiness. So there's that. I'm also found that using electric tape does help. So as you can see in this next clip, I'm placing electric tape above the home button. So what this does, it further secures it. So the super glue, which it shouldn't, if it goes away or for whatever reason, the electric tape actually just keeps it in place and stops it from wiggling. This really gives a good feel for the home button. And as you can see, that's why I cut that protective film on the digitizer so it's not in the way. Essentially just helps me a lot. And you want to make sure that you get a nice groove with the electric tape on the home button. I think we can skip to the next slide right now, to the next clip. So right now I'm going to prep the iPad for the new digitizer. Now what you would like to do is put the adhesive on the side of where the digitizer sits, which with the Air 1 it's going to be on the right side. Actually, I mean iPad 2017. Even though the iPad 2017 is a new iPad, the Air 1 digitizer works with it. And it also actually, even the LCD works the same. Same battery, pretty much just everything the same. The only difference, I believe, was the chip. So as you can see now, I've put the adhesive down and prepared it, taken off the protective layer, and I've put the digitizer in, and I'm connecting it right now. Alright, so now that's connected. You can see I'm just making sure everything's good. Connecting the home button. That is connected. So now we connected the LCD also. Alright, I'm just going to put the screws above the shield. Alright, so now the LCD is good. Now you're going to need to put the 4 screws that secures the LCD. Now we can actually probably skip to the next clip, which I'm going to do right now. So as you can see, I'm going to put a little bit of like a sticky tape on the protective film on the digitizer. This will just help out when I need to grab it. It saves time. You know, I've seen people use tweezers to remove the protective film on the digitizer. All that does is really slow you down and ensures that you have a bunch of dust on your LCD and digitizer. Essentially, when you do it, you want to do a quick motion, remove the protective layer, and make sure everything's out the way. And now I'm going to be putting down the the adhesive on the edges of the iPad, and I'm cutting it to the size. The 3M tape works really good, as you can see. You just place a long enough amount down, and then you can actually shape it afterwards. Once you take off that protective paper, the paper on the adhesive, you can actually just move the adhesive with your finger and kind of like shape it to the side of the iPad. We can actually probably skip to the next clip. So right now I'm going to be cleaning the LCD with some alcohol mixed with some other substance that really cleans up the LCD. You want to make sure that the cloth and the LCD itself is not contaminated with any broken glass. So when people break their iPads, the iPad always has like little shards of glass on the LCD and small little specks of glass. You want to make sure that you use some kind of sticky tape or something that removes the glass. If you don't do this and then you wipe the digitizer, you're only going to scratch the LCD. And nothing annoys me more than a scratched screen when it could have been avoided. So what I always do beforehand, before I clean anything, I always make sure I put some sticky tape on the cloth to remove any particles of glass, and also sticky tape the LCD itself to ensure that there is no little glass on there that could scratch the LCD. So right now I'm using some Scotch tape, which works really good to remove little bits of fingerprints and the smaller dust. If you keep using the cloth, the dust from the cloth itself is going to keep going back on the screen. I mean, I've used cloth before to to clean the screens, and I will tell you that it's hard to keep doing. Like you could be cleaning the LCD for like 10 minutes. So I found that Scotch tape actually works a lot better. It really reduces the risk of more dust going on the LCD. As you can see, I'm just doing a quick final spot check. I'm going to begin more sticky tape right now. As you can see, I removed the protective film from the digitizer. And usually when you do remove that, you might get a little bit of dust here or there on the LCD, which I'm just doing a quick spot check with anything I see. It always helps to go level of the iPad so you can actually see from the edge. There you go. Now I'm just securing it, making sure it's all there. All the corners are met. Now this iPad was actually bent pretty badly. So I actually had to remove the battery and the motherboard to bend the iPad back, and it actually looks really good. Did a great job on this one. Now just testing out the digitizer, making sure everything works. Home button does function like it should, so that's a good sign. Now I always recommend to actually use some kind of heat gun on the edges of the new digitizer just to warm up the adhesive and make sure it's all secured. But that's about it, folks, and that wraps it up.